So of course, if we can help each other more, let's do that more for the next couple of meetings as well. And of course, learn about how we can help that other member give to do. So Colin, today it's all for you. So please share your slides, give us your 10-minute presentation and tell us how we can help you more.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you very much for inviting two of the specific asks that I did ask for. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Colin Horner. I've called this Let's Connect. I, in brackets, call myself the explainer guy, and hopefully I can explain that in the next 10 minutes. And what I've started to do more and more is deliver what I call on-demand learning. Explanations and learning material that is broken down into bite-sized chunks and delivered particularly to the BNI network in on-demand. So director consultant in, you won't be able to pronounce this, the Mpumalanga region of South Africa, which is a very rural, a very spread area across South Africa. And I'm based myself physically in Johannesburg, and because of the lockdown situation, I don't travel. And for the last 18 months, I've been in South Africa many, many years, but I was originally born in the UK, and I'm primarily English speaking. What I speak of the Afrikaans language, which is the sort of old Dutch, I have to Google. So this particular 18 months has been very challenging for me, communicating online only from a remote, from an urban environment to a rural community of a lot of new people. I like to base myself around the core values of BNI, and I particularly, oops, that jumped a bit, sorry. Oh, well, it's jumped, okay. What I want to talk today about is traditions and innovation. So for the last 6 years, I've been a director consultant in South Africa. My passion is education, so I try and learn about education, and I try and share knowledge with people. But I evaluate the education, I work it out. And through a series of circumstances, I'm quite well known across, in fact, the BNI world. I've done doodles or sketches for Dr. Ivan Meisner for podcasts, and I was privileged to have some doodle sketches in one of his books. So, and my favorite 5 words, although I'll tell you at the end, I've changed them, but I always say, how can I help you? Whenever, particularly when I have a one-to-one. And the 3 most, and I can do that in a face-to-face environment, obviously, or I can do it on a digital environment. And the 3 responses I'm hearing most frequently now is, how can you help me connect to somewhere? We've heard Lejos say to booking systems. I got a very strange request a couple of weeks ago from one of our GPT members, not only to me, but he said, this is a man who's in Yorkshire in the UK, who said, I happen to be going to Sofia, Bulgaria, 2 weeks' time. I'll be there on a Monday. Can you tell me where I can go to do a presentation as a member? When I show people the system, the most frequent response I get now is, wow, I didn't know. So what I wanted to share with you is some ideas that maybe I can help you guys. So I want to particularly talk about BNI. I want to talk about BNI technology, and I want to talk about specifically BNI Connect. BNI Connect, the application, the system is what I would call an ecosystem. It's a complex, connected, interconnected system for the whole of BNI members, directors, support staff, etc. The fact is that when you are onboarded into BNI, you get an identity, you get an email address. If you then choose, for whatever reason, not to put in more information, obviously less information will show, but I can find every one of those 285,000 or plus people in seconds in the system. And it's intended to link together and support from BNI International through countries, regions, etc. But it's my belief that we are not using this, and particularly in a digital environment, to its optimum purpose. And there's all sorts of reasons for it. So you can use it face-to-face, obviously, but you can use it digitally. And the way it works is that we connect this network together, as we know, and members particularly engage in what is now called in BNI a Power of One system. It's the BNI model that says if you start to learn and you go to meetings and you engage actively with your network and you're able to educate others through the meeting, through the one-to-ones, you will accrue referrals and the whole system can start again. And then we encourage people to grow the network, because the network equation, this is what Ivan Meisner wrote his original PhD on, is an exponential equation. The more links there are in the network, the more opportunities. So we say now, if you engage one visitor a month, you will help to grow our network. But I believe in doing that, we are missing out on a whole different ecosystem, which is a system, and depends obviously on your particular country and your state, but it's a system of people who are looking for the BNI model, who are looking for an opportunity to turn a skill into a revenue, to turn a life event where something has happened and they have to go out and earn an income into employment. And I think we've got the BNI model to do that. It's been in existence 36 years, and this Power of One system does work if you work it, but it doesn't work effectively, I don't think, if we encourage BNI members to just really engage in their network, go out and find one visitor a month and bring him to a BNI experience in a network. And frankly, and I study the numbers, I'm very, very au fait with numbers across the world. And fact is that in the last 2 years, BNI has shrunk in the Western world, more dramatically in certain areas than others. And the only reason we can claim consistent 36 years of growth is that 45,000 people have been onboarded in the last 2 years in India and China particularly. And the two cultures are very, very different. So my proposal is that we open up this network through another ecosystem or another technology, which is our regional and chapter websites, which frankly, as an external sort of shop window, at the moment are totally closed to this other ecosystem, the system that's seeking to find employment, to pivot their business, etc., etc. Or if one looks at South Africa, and I'm applying this model very much in South Africa, a need to uplift a previously deprived, segregated community and empower people and raise the standard of living. So what I'm asking for, and I've studied this and I understand the technology completely, is the opportunity to teach BNI members how to in fact populate their own profiles and present or make the BNI profile the hub of their business. And you'll see if you went onto my profile, it's a very, very different profile to a lot of members where it describes, it changes every day. I use it to help me define my weekly presentations. I record my weekly presentations in the Connect profile, and then I communicate out through social media channels. So my one ask is, and that's why I specifically asked for executive directors, if I could get executive directors, it would be more challenging across different language systems, but not impossible, to teach members to use their profiles and to use the technology that's given to them as the hub of their business. How they reach their markets is the channels to their business. So I'd like to offer training sessions to that sort of community online. And then I'd also like to show how you can open up your websites and present the shop window, if you like, of this model that we've got through, not through members' own connections, but out to this other ecosystem, and actually bring people to us instead of trying to go out and find the visitors, actually attract the visitors by advertising and promoting what we do through regional and chapter websites. And again, I'm authorized and I'm empowered to do that in South Africa. A couple of my executive directors have bought into the system, but I would look like a much wider audience and a much more opportunity to teach the world. So that's my story. I can explain the technology, I can communicate it, I can help people, and that's a desire. And if necessary, I can even manage their profiles for them. So my quote is that network works. It's from my mentor, Ivan Meisner. It's just a matter of developing the right strategy. So that's me. I say, let's connect. Let me help people by on-demand learning. And if I could work with some executive directors to help them grow their regions, I think we'd all win. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you found that interesting and informative.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Colin, for your brilliant presentation. And I would say, let's open up the questions. Are there any of you that have any specific questions for Colin that they would want to ask? Let's take, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes to ask questions and get the answers from Colin we can have now. Anyone got questions? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Colin, you said you were already working with some executive directors in South Africa. And yeah. Can you explain something about the results you already had with using that technology through Facebook and social media?
Ronnie, I have to admit my results are not very impressive at this stage, because I look on myself as an innovator who is trying to change the way BNI does business, and change is always a huge challenge. The strange part is that, you know, our founder and mentor, or our founder, Ivan Meisner, who, you know, started in a non-digital world 36 years ago, is probably one of the biggest visionaries in the whole organization. And he envisaged in 2011 this BNI Connect system. He's the first to admit it. I've talked to him, I've listened to him many times. The problem was, I think, it was seen as a CRM system, and it is still seen as a CRM system. And there's two legs to the development of Connect. There's a leg that started in 2011 with Jeremy Walsh, the Fundi in Long Island, and he is still very much the presenter. He's on Global Town Hall and he presents, but he presents the transactional system. He presents the logging, he presents the tracking, this sort of thing. In 2015, somebody called Stephen Schwartz was employed, and I don't know, I'm not privy, but I think he was probably one of the first appointments of Graham Weimuller to become the group technology officer. And he started a development which is ongoing in Bangalore, India, under a guy called Pedro Faraz. And that was to develop the mobile web app of the future. And my eyes were absolutely opened when I listened to the last online conference, which was last year, where Stephen Schwartz did an hour's presentation on his dream, where he had got to since 2015 and where he was taking it. And I myself am a very technical person, and I was using it, and I was blown away when I saw what I could do. For instance, I could upload videos onto my profile through the mobile app. Now, it's my belief, I might know what you do, and you might be able to educate me on what you do so I can refer you if you're a member or whatever. But the very best person to actually talk about what you do is you yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, if I could find a referral opportunity for you and then say, I can recommend Ronnie, but actually listen to what Ronnie says himself. And I coined the phrase at one stage of in the palm of your hand, on demand in the palm of your hand. So I'm work closely now with a man called Philip Dunn, who's our national training director. He's given me full scope, but regrettably, he's the first to admit it, he's non-technical. So he doesn't, and many of the executive directors have the worst profiles of the lot. You go on to very senior executive directors, and you can't even tell that they are executive directors. They promote some other business. So it's difficult to convince members if their own executive directors are not, well, why should I do it if, and so I've had many discussions but the fact is, and I want to talk to Lejos, what Lejos said earlier, I can find an immediate opportunity for him. We've got to change the way the world does business. And finally, I said to you, I've always said, how can I help you? I've changed that now. In fact, I've become quite an irritating person. Ask some of these people who are on this call, because I get very frustrated. I ask now why and why not. If people tell me we've always done it that way, I say why? Why not do it this way? And I think that is what we've got to start doing. How can I help you implies I know a bit more than you because I'm older than you, I've had more experience. This new world which we're in, and it may come back to more like the old normal, but it will never return. We have to use technology, and we have to, and the one thing this has done, of course, is I would never be speaking to you 18 months ago like this. Impossible unless I took a trip. So it's opened up huge opportunities, but change is always challenging. But what I'm saying to people, and that's the strength of BNI, is we are brought up with a philosophy of how can I help you? So you don't have to know it all. I'll help you do it. I don't want you to, you've got other things to do, but if I could help you do it and manage it for you and get satisfaction myself, wow. So the answer to your question is, not too good at this stage. I mean, my ultimate was a man in Australia who's an ex-South African, owns the Western Australia, a guy called John Williamson. And when I pitched this to him a while ago, he said, "Oh, Colin, I've got to watch my language because Diane's on it." But he used quite a foul, Danielle, sorry. He used quite not a crude word, but he says, "I'm not into all that social media, blah, blah, blah." I'm saying it's not social media. I don't want you to tell people what you had for breakfast this morning. I want you to tell people about your business and what you can do to help other people with their business. And you've got to use technology into the future.
We promote that to our members, or media managers, as we call them, and sometimes the media manager is promoting the members by putting their demands on Facebook, but I'm not familiar with Facebook. They ask me, can we have a LinkedIn profile? Okay, no problem, we can have it. But to manage all these things, that's difficult, I think.
I'm not saying, this is where I have confused people in the past. I'm not saying drop your Facebook, drop your LinkedIn. I'm saying as long as you come into BNI has a system where you can break your business down and build it up. Ivan Meisner talks about LCDs and building it up. And if you do that in BNI Connect, and it's got all of the fields to do that, and then use it through the other channels, because you don't on LinkedIn, you don't go to a meeting every week and do a pitch. You don't, and you can't do an effective pitch. Well, you couldn't do one in a live meeting. You can't do one in an online meeting and engage people unless you prepare and rehearse it and produce something interesting. So the other thing I'm hoping for is that if we get people doing this, meetings will become more interesting and more engaging, because a lot of meetings are very boring at the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, I'm overstaying my time. I beg your pardon.
No worries. It's interesting, Colin, and that's of course the part of this meeting as well, is that we can help each other to leverage our businesses. So now it's our opportunity to leverage your business, Colin. So please feel free to continue. So Danielle, do you have maybe any questions for Colin, or is everything clear on your side? And you're still on mute, so maybe.
Sorry, I saw it. No, not directly. It was interesting to hear your. But no, not directly. I will discuss it also with Pierre Nicolas after to see if we can use it, what we can do with it. So maybe we come back later on it. Sure, why not?
I think, Danielle, it's going to be interesting to organize a one-to-many, I would say, with our regional team with Colin.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think this is an information that's very important for the whole of our team.
Yeah. I'm open. I'm open for every positive things, and this is positive, of course. So maybe we can check to have one to all our disease with all our disease.
I'll leave the two executive directors with one thought. You own a region, whatever it is. Google your region. BNI plus whatever is the, Ronnie, is yours? Yes, Mechelen.
Kempen and Arrondissement Mechelen.
Okay,
yes.
Google BNI plus Mechelen. And the first hit you get with BNI, not Facebook, go in and you'll get your regional website. On the top, click Contact Us. Think about what your business is in terms of that region, what you are offering. We change the way the world does business. And you'll see a listing of your regional staff, yourself, and then all your directors. Click any one of the directors or the ambassador's name, and you'll get their profile. And just ask yourself, does that project what I want to project as BNI region. And I can tell you it doesn't.
You're absolutely right. There was a question from this week. I follow all the questions on BNI members or executive directors or DCs put in, and there was a question: why can a director consultant or an executive director can't have a separate profile so he can explain he's there for BNI and not for his business? If you Google my profile, you see something about printers and copiers, but that's not the profile I want. I want the profile as an executive director, but that's not possible at this moment.
It is. It is.
Yeah?
Every member, when they become a director or an ambassador, gets an extra page in their Connect profile, with a separate set of fields where you can describe your business in that capacity. Because we don't teach it, the system just migrates whatever is on the front page to the second page. And that's why you see people who have become directors or health consultants or selling copiers. But you do have a separate page with separate fields to in fact, project videos. So you do have that, but because we're not aware of it, because we've never been taught it, we don't know it.
And that's the thing, Colin teaches everyone around it.
Yeah, that's new to me. Never know that. Right.
I'll send you a link to the BNI and Puma regional website. You can look up the owner, Philip Dunn, and a few of his people, and you'll see what you're saying. Click on Colin Horner and see what Colin Horner's profile says as a regional director. And you'll see the difference. And I constantly change it every day. For instance, I've got a video on there at the moment explaining the international convention and how you can book on the international convention and what it is you can get of value. So that is possible, but it's just not known. Anyway, thanks very much. Thank you for your attendance, firstly, and thank you, Pierre. Wonderful.
Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And well, that's what the synergy is all about. It's looking how we can help each other, how we can help the other members to achieve the right connections that they need to expand their business. And well, Colin, if I can help you with any other connections, I will definitely do. So Paul Appelmans asked me to send your recording of this presentation as well as did Jan de Wachter. So I definitely will forward your recording of this to other EDs that I've talked, but I couldn't make it to this presentation today. Because of course it's the time to train our new LTs. So there a lot of them are training them right now. So yeah, that's why not everyone could make it. All right, for the next meeting. So normally it was actually Mikael that was doing her presentation, 10-minute presentation next meeting, and Jose on the 10th of January. But since both of them are falling out of the synergy, we have some spots that came open. And I maybe want to propose to Nish and to Lajos to take these places a little bit earlier on, since you were actually very late in.
Yeah, I would be happy to do that.
So Lajos, is that okay for you to take next month's
definitely
meeting?
No problem. Okay.
All right. And Nish, is that okay for you on the 10th of January? Right, you're still muted. And you're still muted. Nish, so we can hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm speaking on mute. My apologies. I can take January 10. I'm saying, thank God it's not October 1st, but January 10th.
No, it's January. Yes, indeed. It's written in the European way of writing, not the American way of writing.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Lajos, can you tell us who would you want to have as potential visitors for our next meeting then when you are presenting?
Yes, definitely. I would like to have travel agencies, tour operators, okay, and decision makers from booking sites, okay, because I'm into my travel security training program right now, and also I would love to welcome the decision makers in global security companies, because I'm cooperating with other security companies worldwide. So I'm very, very happy to cooperate with other security companies. And I think that's it.
All right. So write that down as well in our WhatsApp group so that all our members and Emmeline as well can get all that information, and we can focus on that for our next meetings.
Okay, thank you.
And I will send an update as well from the calendar, so that's, and maybe change the month so it's more clearly what the dates are. I will adapt that. All right. Well, I want if anyone else has a question or potential referral that you can give for each other, please do so right about now. If there are not any remarks anymore or questions for Colin or for the other members, then I'll gladly thank you all for being present on this meeting. And then I wish you all very, very, very good, well, business and moments and opportunities, of course, in BNI and GPT around us.
Okay, thank you very much. See you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ronnie. Thank
See you
you
next
very
time.
much. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.